If someone called you and said, "Hey, I'm about to take over the business, what should I really pay attention to?" So go for it.
Yeah, so I think it might be helpful for me to provide a little bit of context. The business that I bought, Western Stairlifts, before I owned it was a set was the owner and an installer. And so the owner wasn't really trying to grow the business. There was a lot more business that he could take on if he just hired a few people. So I came into the business with the idea that I would hire some people, really work to grow the business, to find more jobs, to get more leads. And so a big part of my focus was ramping up our Google marketing and just doing anything I could to get more leads. We've even been handing out flyers at senior centers. We've been doing some door hangers in some 55 plus communities and been getting more business from that. But I was really focused on how I could grow the business. And our business, our warehouse is north of Salt Lake City. And so most of our business has actually been north of Salt Lake City, which is a less densely populated area than Salt Lake County. And we were still getting plenty of business in Salt Lake County, but it wasn't proportional to the population. So I knew that we could get a lot more business in Salt Lake City. And so I had the idea of, well, let's open up another outlet somewhere in the Salt Lake City area so that our business shows up twice on Google Maps. And just really didn't understand how Google business profiles work. I did some reading online about virtual business addresses and these different things. And I thought we could just add a second address to our Google business profile. So I went ahead and bought a virtual business address, shared it with the marketing company that we work with, and one of their employees just changed the business address from our actual warehouse location to this virtual address without me really giving him confirmation. I was still doing research about these virtual addresses and realized, number one, like Google does not like you using virtual business addresses. They kind of see it as something deceptive. And so right from that point, like I'm not trying to do anything I shouldn't. I'm not trying to game the system. So right from that point, I decided, okay, we're just going to shelf this idea and think about how we do this later. Maybe we do open up an actual second warehouse in the Salt Lake area. So the next day I changed the address back to the actual warehouse address. And so whenever you're making a change like that in your Google business profile, Google will ask you to re-verify your business. So that wasn't too big a deal. They gave me video verification as the method to do that. So did the video of the warehouse, of the sign out front, and a week later they said, "Hey, you're not verified. You need to do it again." A week later, same thing. A week later, same thing. And I had no idea why it wasn't passing verification. And then on July 31st, the business actually got suspended from Google. And this whole time, I just have no idea what I did wrong. I thought it may have something to do with reviews because the seller wasn't really trying to get reviews. Over years, only had 12 reviews. And I started asking every customer to leave a review, got 17 more reviews over 2.5 months. And so I thought maybe we were flagged just because, hey, there were 12 reviews over 12 years, and now there's 17 in the last 2 months. Something weird is going on here. And so I was focused on that. Just actually a few days ago, I was reviewing the Google business profile again and realized that the little red arrow on the map was still pointed at the virtual business address in Salt Lake County, which is 30 minutes from here. So I realized that's why the business got suspended, is because the address is up here, and 30 minutes south is where the arrow is on the map. And so there's a big discrepancy there. And so that's, I think, why Google suspended us. But so I fixed it already a few days ago, but still I've just been waiting to get a response to my appeal for the suspension, and I'm not hearing anything. And there's no one that you can talk to at Google, and so it's been really stressful for me because we're not getting as many leads. We haven't gotten as many leads in August as we were in June and July. And it's still okay because this business has been around for so long and we've been getting a lot of referrals, but it's just been a really stressful period not having a Google business profile, not knowing if or when we'll get it back. So my fingers are crossed, and I'm very hopeful we'll get it back now, but I'm still having to wait and see. And so my word of advice for people would be just to tread lightly when it comes to Google, especially if your business is dependent on it. Don't make tons of changes to your Google business profile without really understanding what you're doing, because they can shut you down and there's no one that you can call or talk to. And you just kind of have to wait for them to hopefully fix it for you. But that's been my biggest challenge with owning this business so far.
That was some great context, and unfortunately, it's a good story to for other people to listen, but it's at your expense, and so that's never fun. But yeah, there's so many things that I feel like people don't realize or they don't understand about Google, about some of the payment processors, your banking, your website hosting, email. There's so many like little things that people don't really think about, and they're so concerned with just getting into the business and then running at 100 miles an hour trying to do 7 different things that they don't realize there's little things that need to be transferred over and taken care of, especially when you're a smaller business and you don't have somebody specific for your marketing and somewhere else that maybe would have had some expertise in that.